And we're live.
Oh, barely.
No,
Well,
no, we're
actually, no.
definitely live.
I'm actually pretty energized. So yeah, I'm a little hyper, if that's if
A
that can
little
be
hyper.
imagined, So yeah, it's Monday.
It is Monday, October 17th, 2022. And you are watching the Ragin to the vlogs. And you ready for this?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. Hit it.
All right. The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or Ragin 2 Promotion.
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at?
A Catch the Craze podcast.
What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you going to do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
You are an independent. Catch the craze. Making moves on your own. Catch the craze. On your grind in the streets. Catch the craze. Join the movement. Catch the craze.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. And I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks. You know what I hate?
What?
My internet service provider.
Oh, well, I think that's everybody.
Everyone sends your hate mail to Cox Communications.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everybody. Honestly, I don't think nobody likes their.
I'm so fucking livid.
Their cable provider. For all of you who don't know, Nita, they're redoing the I guess like the network in her neighborhood, so they keep messing with the cables. So if she all of a sudden disappears, that's why. But we're okay. We're good. We're good. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ragin to the Vlogs show. Oh my God. Like I said, I'm a little hyper today. I had a very exciting weekend, and but we'll get into that in a minute. So who's in the chat today? Who's joining us?
We got
today?
Vicinio, we got William Russell, Tanner, Hurley, Marvy.
Hello,
random strangers.
Yes, and speaking of Vicinia, we did a wonderful interview with her on Friday. So if you missed out on that rare, I don't know, I'm saying rare, but this month we do have more Friday interviews. So I don't know, something about October where everybody's launching in October. But but if you want to check out Vicinia and her campaign Pulsetober, volume 2, you can check out the broadcast that we did on Friday, and also check out links in the show notes below to check out all the campaigns that we feature on this channel. So
really
welcome.
want to find them? Go to the Ragin 2.
Yes.
Or no. We changed the name of it.
Oh yes, the Indie
Comics promotions page.
Yes,
on Facebook.
yes. We're slowly consolidating everything under a new kind of banner or something, so we're still getting used to it ourselves. And yes, and I see you, 7 people watching us from regions beyond. If you are watching us from Twitter and Facebook, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat. It's like, and hit that and hit all the buttons to make the algorithm gods happy. But it's like, yeah, because it's all the fun is here, all the cool kids are here. But I'm sure you have your reasons. I'm sure that's cool too if you want to remain anonymous watcher.
You just want to be a voyeur. That's cool
that's good too. We are no kink shaming here. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales and my medieval fantasy soap opera drama Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is yeah, I'm packing it right now. I am packing it as
it's coming, people.
Maybe not at this very moment, but it's like we'll talk about that in a little bit. But issue 5 on pre-launch right now. So all the links again in the show notes below. The actual campaign launches November 7th, so don't miss out on that. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So like I said, hit that subscribe button, the thumbs, all the buttons that you see on your screen, just press them all. It doesn't matter. And hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime any of our shows go live. And we have a good number of shows, that can go live at any point of the week. So so I was about to pass it on to Nita, but I'm still here.
There's no point in being on camera. It's
driving
me batshit crazy.
Right. You're getting a delay on your end?
Yeah, I'm like looking at my feed and I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm not going to freeze. I'm not going to look every time. No, I'm not doing it.
Oh, so there you go. So Nita, tell the peoples who you are.
My name is Nita Lanning. I am the executive producer of the Indie Comics Network on YouTube. I also am in charge of Indie Comics promotions page on Facebook. I'm a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana, and I'm known for acting like an e-thought and being a little bitch from time to time.
Well, but that's all of us.
Yeah. Just facts, yo.
Right,
facts.
Okay, it's like, we want to make sure everybody knows what they're getting into over here. So do we have any housekeeping to take care of before we start this full hour of
Don't
stuff?
forget, our very own Chad Perkins is launching today.
He's launching today? I thought it was launching Friday. I
don't know. Chad's launching this shit. Right. The Legend of Sparkle Dog. Don't say a woo. And it's either going to be today or tomorrow. Or
the next day,
or Friday.
Or Friday.
I'm pretty sure he said the 17th. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you know what? I'm sure he's in pre-launch. Again, link in the show notes below. It's like just make sure. Yeah, just sign up so you get notified whenever he decides to launch. At least he's giving you a pre-launch page, as opposed to like JD when he's about to do the Oswald Chronicles, and he just loves to keep everybody guessing. So
and also, guess what tonight is?
What's tonight?
Shots with Comics.
Oh no!
Yes. So do not send your comics over here. But Chad and Kit are going to be reviewing comics.
Right.
Do not send yours though, because they get drunk and they talk a lot of smack.
Yeah, it's a lot of vodka, a lot of caffeine involved.
Don't do
You
it.
know, it's like, you know, it's like send your comics for him to review at your own risk.
You know, somebody thought I was playing, and I was like, "No, I'm dead serious."
Right. Okay.
So,
Look, you know what?
we
It's like
really
if
strove
you
to
think
advise
we're
against it.
kidding, go right ahead and send your books over there.
But then don't cry. Don't
Yeah,
cry
exactly.
to us.
No,
we don't.
just
we don't wanna
suck
hear
it up. You know, take the drunk review like a good creator, and then move on.
All right, Daphne, you
Okay.
ready for this?
What am I ready for? Oh, yes. Save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order with our coupon code RAGIN10. Because, yes, with a campaign comes fulfillment, and you want to do it correctly. So, now here's my question, though. The RAGIN10, is it good only on Gemini mailers or anything else?
Anything in the supply store.
Very good, because we could talk about that in a minute. So yes,
Uh-oh.
so remember this code, everybody. RAGIN10. You know, you're gonna thank us for it later. Also, you want to ask us questions, have comments, so you want us to address something specific on the show, email Nita at raginabc@gmail.com, and she will take care of you. And more likely than not, we will answer your questions on the air, or just comment on whatever you want us to do. We'll almost do it. Don't bring up Toe of Satan, though. I absolutely refuse to allow Nita to do that. So,
but I bought one.
No, it's like that.
I have to do it for something.
No, we'll save it for later. But no, I will not allow Nita to hurt herself in the name of indie comics. Indie comics is going to have to suck that up. So yeah, I mean, it's like, so like I said, I'm a little hyper because over the weekend I got my books. I got my books early. I was supposed, all the tracking numbers said I was supposed to get them on, I was supposed to get them today, actually, but instead, you know, I got them on Saturday, and I have been just, I got them on Saturday, and I have been just spending, no, I got them on Friday night, I think. Try to remember, because it's like, it doesn't matter. I spent the entire weekend packing books, you know? So everything is all prepped. I just started putting together the first couple of reward packages. And and here's where the Ragin 10 code comes in. So I ran out of bags and boards. And we had to go to our local comic book shop, which is only open on the weekends because it's an outlet store, but it's really only a couple of blocks away. So it's very convenient. It's Midtown Comics outlet. So it's a lot easier than having to go into the city to pick up supplies. So yesterday we went to the store where I can get more bags and boards, and those things are expensive. I've noticed that in the past couple of months, how the prices have jumped on that. I mean, it's like now it's like, I think I'm paying like $12 for boards and another $10 for bags, you know, for just, you know, so it's like, yeah, it gets really expensive really quickly. However, Gemini mailers, they now offer bags and boards for you to buy in bulk. However, you have to buy them in, I guess, like you have to buy them 1,000 at a time. And in the past, it kind of felt like, oh, that's a lot of bags and boards to have to commit to, you know, or whatnot. But after yesterday, we realized that, you know what, we might be at a point where we might need to get that many bags and boards and have that in stock in advance.
And buying in bulk like that for people who put out as much as you guys do does save money.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like we had to buy, I bought like 2 sets of bags and boards. It cost me like $60 just for the 200. And you know, so it's like, and we have more books coming because I have to get all my stuff out before JD's books, the Oswald Chronicles, comes in from his campaign. So I got to clear this table out before, you know. But the thing is, so think about that. For $200, I mean, for 200 bags and boards, I spent $60, you know, on it. But if you go to Gemini mailers, it's like, I think like, you know, you can get, I think like it's like what JD looked it up, and he says that like it would cost us almost half the price
Yep.
buying the bags and boards through Gemini mailers than if we bought the equivalent amount through Midtown. So, and then we have our 10% on top of that.
And I'm working on something right now
You
with
know?
Brian from over there for a steeper discount on bags and boards.
You know, so it's like, well, you know what? It's time. So yeah, so if you are at that point where you need to buy bags and boards in bulk like that, check out Gemini mailers, use our 10% code on top of it, and it's like, yeah, it's gotten to that point. So yeah, so like I said, I got my new trade paperbacks today. You know, I mean, no, I'm packing them today. So I got them. So it was just like really, really exciting to finally have this. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, doing print on demand, you know, because we can print literally that as we go along. So it's kind of hard to look through a book and go, oh, I should really change this. I should, even though I had the proof for like the past couple of months, you know, it's like, I'm still like, oh, I should do this, I should do that. And it's like, if this was offset, I would just have to like, okay, however it looks, that's it, you know, I'm done, right? But because it's like, oh, for the next campaign, I'm going to have to make these tiny little changes just to
Oh my
kind of like,
gosh.
I mean, it's obnoxious, I know. It's like, but
It
that's
is. It's like, God, just let it
commit, right?
go.
Just commit.
Just commit.
So I'm packing this up right now. And you know what, considering how we've always discussed how to, you know, how important it is to pack your things. I mean, it's like, it's like, you know, definitely, you know, if you can use Gemini mailers, if you're sending out, you know, a lot of single issues or whatnot. But because this is a trade paperback and I'm sending out a lot of other books too, I needed to get something a little that can handle more bulk, you know. So for those, so what I'm doing this time, and I want to show people how I'm packing this, because I've been seeing some photos online. Creators are still putting their crap in manila envelopes with
Yeah,
no
they
wrapper
are.
or anything, and thinking that's acceptable, you know, for their, I mean, it's like, look, people are paying $10-$20, you know, for these individual issues, and to get it in a manila envelope, that's completely unacceptable. So what I've been doing, so this time I'm doing something a little different. After, you know, listening to JD Rosario talk
Look at
about
you.
So I got these boxes. I got the I guess what, the clamshell boxes instead of the usual folding boxes. Like they kind of like adjustable folding mailers.
Right.
These were actually less expensive. I get everything from Uline, by the way, if anyone's, you know, wondering. So I decided to take a chance. It's like, okay, let's see how these work out. So, you know, and what I liked about it is that technically, because of these folds, these edges are more reinforced than on the other packaging that I was getting. So at least that's something that I liked about it. And just the fact that it just folds really easily and you got like a nice little box here. So then what I do is I take, this is just a sample, you know, it's like I take my books and then I wrap them in bubble. Just, you know, just wrap it up in like a little burrito, right? But then, you know, you got to take it into consideration, right? So you wrap it in, you know, you just plop it in there, right? So the bubble is also going to form another edge of protection on the top and bottom. But now look at this. You have to keep this in mind. Now I have these gaps on the side. And the thing that I really don't want happening is anything shifting while it's in the system, you know, whatever system you're using, whether it's the post office or UPS. So then what I'm doing is I'm taking this nice craft paper and I'm stuffing it into the edges, like all cozy like, all right? So, you know, so because you really want to get, you know, these gaps filled because you don't want anything shifting, right? I put my little postcard in there, and then once I close it, it doesn't look like it's a lot of paper, but once I close it, you don't hear anything moving. There's nothing moving in there. So it's like, and that's what you want. All you hear is the books kind of, like the bubble kind of pushing up against the paper, but you don't feel anything moving. So once I get this taped up, it's like super solid, and it's like, and you really don't need much. That's the thing. I was surprised to realize, like here's one that's completely finished. And it's like, yeah, it's like all I'm hearing is that postcard, because it's a postcard. I'm not going to worry about that. But, but yeah, I don't feel anything shifting there. I don't feel the weight going back and forth. So, so I am really confident that these books are going to reach their destination, in pristine condition. And honestly, Nita,
yo,
you have the mail person from hell.
That bitch will find a way to do it, Daphne. I'm telling you. If she can bend Gemini mailers, and I'm talking the product was still okay, but she still bent that mailer.
I mean, because I'm looking at this
it's
box.
Like one of those where there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
And my postal carrier is a woman scorned, okay?
Right. Yeah, I know, for real, because it's like she goes out of her way. So it's like, so really, you think that she would try even to bend this?
I think she would do her damnedest.
Oh my God.
I'm curious though.
My goodness. So everybody, really take into consideration how you're going to package your stuff, because it's like, what I hate is people who make, especially if they make, kind of a good chunk of change, but then all of a sudden they want to get cheap on shipping. And it's like, no, that is not where you go cheap. I mean, it's like, yeah, you can try to be as inexpensive as possible, but really just sliding a book in a manila.
How about do that with limiting stretch goals and stuff?
Right.
How about don't be cheap when you're asking people to pay $30 for a fucking comic book?
No, absolutely. No, for real. It's like, it's like there are other ways for you to save money. But the thing is, though, it's like, look, Kickstarter, we're already paying premium for your stuff. The lowest expectation I have is that I get these items in excellent condition, and it's like, because you know what? Because if you think your stuff is like, if you send your stuff like that, they go, oh, well, it's garbage anyway. Guess what? I'm going to treat it like garbage.
Oh, I sure did. Oh my gosh. Remember that dude that wouldn't send his shit?
Right.
And then he finally did in an envelope.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just to get you off his back, and it's like, look, because it's like, once I realized, if you don't care enough to package your stuff correctly, then I'm not going to care enough to spend money on you next time.
Right. Because
it's like, you know what? I've sent packages back to Amazon for less. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you know what? It's like, treat your customers with the respect they deserve for backing your campaign. It's like, you're not entitled to their support. So like the fact that they did is like, look, these are people who are putting their monetary faith in you. The least you can do is get their books to them in good condition. But it's like, but the thing is though, because we're just coming on, we're just hitting like the 20-minute mark, and we do have a guest. Yes, we do have a guest coming on.
Look, it says my connection is stable. It looks about as stable as my mental health, though.
Well, I mean, you're looking clear on my end, but I want to give everybody a little sneak peek as to why should you sign up for the launch page for Eager Raven issue 5? Because I have some goodies available that's going to be available, limited edition items that's going to be available on the next campaign, and I want to make sure that you guys get them. And so I actually got some proofs. Actually, I would have to ask Jose that. I would have to ask JD that, because he was the one who received your package. So he would be, and he's a tough judge. He's like the Soviet judge, it's like, So I did more proofs while I was getting everything done. And and I got them back, and I couldn't be more than thrilled, as always. And so this is going to be, you're getting a sneak peek as to the exclusive variant covers that I'm going to have on the next campaign.
Let's see.
Now, yeah, I've already shown you guys the Jade and Lanning variant. There's a couple of lucky people who won copies of that in this campaign that I'm packing out. So these are going to be the 3 variants that are going to be available on the next campaign. So this is the first one. So this, everyone keeps talking about homage covers and all that. So this is the homage cover that I decided to make available on the campaign. So this is my Eagle Raven Thor crossover variant. So this is going to be this. A lot of you would have recognized as the cover that I did for Glenn Fleming for his magazine Comics Unlimited. So now this is going to be the exclusive variant on the Eagle Raven 5 campaign, and it's going to come in 2 lovely flavors. It's going to come in the regular and in the virgin variant, because what I've noticed in the numbers is that people who love variant covers, they like to keep it simple. They like either the regular or the virgin. So you're not going to see a silver cover. You're not going to see a hollow cover of this. It's just, we're just keeping it simple. So and these are going to be limited to however many gets pledged on during the campaign. I'm not making any extras to be available after the campaign. So this is the Thor homage variant cover. But like I said, there's 3 variant covers coming up. So for all you Facebook cretins out there that follow me, it's like, this one is for you. So if you follow me on Facebook, you all know how much we all love Disaster Son and the unicorn he keeps bothering. So just for you guys, I created this variant cover. It's called the Facebook. This is the Facebook variant, but it's available to everybody who pledges to the campaign. I'm just calling it the Facebook variant because it's because of everybody on Facebook that I did this cover. So here we go. So this is the more sexy version of a variant cover. So this is Werewolf Loki and Eagle Raven, right? And then again, here is the virgin cover.
There's no virgin cover.
There's no
with
virgin
this option.
I know, really. So this is the virgin. So this image, this cover is going to be available in these 2 flavors as well. For those of you who like your variant covers to be a little on the saucy side. So there you go. So this is going to be available on the next campaign as well.
Sweet.
So this is so that is my Facebook. This is my homage to Facebook.
Oh
to all my
gosh,
Facebook peeps. This one's for you guys.
this is for the homies.
This is for the homies. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is for the homies. So this last one though, I think that if you've been watching my Facebook page, you would have gotten hints of this last cover, but you know what? Considering how well the nude cover has been doing on the last previous campaigns that I offered them, of course I had to bring one more out for this campaign. So this is the first time that I'm showing it in full on screen or whatnot. So this is going to be the nude variant for issue 5 for the issue 5 campaign. So nice. So I made sure it is now it is uncensored, but I had to censor it for YouTube because you know how YouTube is. So we're going to have the regular version and we're going to have the virgin edition of it. Just means that there's no trade dress or anything on it, so you can see the full image of the cover. So these are going to be available on the campaign. Like I said, all 3 of these variants are going to be limited to the campaign itself. So There we go. So these are, so these are the 3 covers. So so they're going to be limited to the campaign themselves. And so if you want to make sure you don't miss out on being able to get any of anything, any limited edition, anything on this campaign, make sure you sign up in the link below and hit that pre-launch button so you get notified when the campaign goes live on November 7th. And I'm just glad that I don't have to worry about changing that date because I was a little worried there for a second with the way everything was kind of being delayed and whatnot. But nope. We're on track, November 7th. So again, make sure you hit the link in the show notes below. Hit the pre-launch button so you get notified when the campaign goes live. So we're just hitting the half-hour mark. So Nita, you want to throw up a couple of more bumps, and we'll bring in our guest.
Yes, ma'am. All right, ready for these bumps?
We'll be right back.
Motherfuckers. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm coming back. I'm in the middle of blocking shit. Okay. Hello.
Well, it's like you can't, sometimes, that's the risk we take. It's like you put yourself online and nonsense ensues. And that's beyond the nonsense that we ensue on our own. So welcome to welcome to our show. We cleaned up for you. We vacuumed.
Thank you.
Obviously, Nita is being the producer that she is. So why don't you tell everybody who you are? And
Sure. Most of the people in the chat actually know me, so they're like, "Gosh, dang it, it's Laurie again. Does this girl ever sleep?" And the answer is no. I don't sleep. I am always working.
Well, you have to sleep a little bit.
This is true. I mean, I do take breaks, but I'm out here a lot.
Right.
That's what you got to do. I'm Laurie Calcaterra. I'm the writer-creator of Path of the Pale Rider. That's what I do in the indie comic scene. I teach martial arts and bake things. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
So you literally can kick ass and take names.
Yeah, I do. That's what I do.
So you're a writer on. So this campaign, Path of the Pale Rider, is currently on which crowdfunding platform?
We're currently on Kickstarter. We're like 87%. We got about 13 days left. So.
Oh, okay. So you got plenty of time. Okay, writer, martial arts, martial artist, the whole thing. So what came first, the martial arts or the writing?
The martial arts actually came first. And it's a funny story for those of you who haven't heard it. I was actually, I've done martial arts since like 1997, so a long time. And in like 2016, 2017, I formed a fight team. We were choreographing fights for like movie production and like music videos. And yeah, there's a production company in Detroit that I was working for called Coattail Collective. So I wrote a short film, which was kind of like our resume for the fight team. So just kind of showcasing some of the things we could do. So we did like gun disarms. I did a wall run in a stairwell. We had an extended knife fight scene, and then like I switched out and like another guy came in and continued the fight. And then I eventually like ran some over with a car. It's wild. It's like 7 minutes of just plain good old fights. We're not actors. So it's like, if you watch it and the acting is cringe, we're not actors, right?
Because
we're
you're
not.
Actually showcasing the choreography, not
right.
necessarily.
There's very little talking for a good reason.
Right. It's kind of like it's kind of like porno, but for fighting.
Exactly. It's like you're just here for the fights. Like, don't open your mouth. Don't pretend like you know how to act.
Right.
But it's, it is what it is. And then I started writing because the production company was like, this is really cool, but you could do more than this. And I was like, you're right, I can. So I started writing for them, and I wrote a web series called The Agency, which went into production. But it was like the pilot, as soon as like it was ready for reshoots, my family and I ended up relocating to Texas.
Oh, so everybody's moving to Texas.
Yeah, we moved there in 2019. So that's where we are. It was a really weird pandemic because we had just moved into a house and knew nobody and knew no things. So it's like, it was very bizarre. It was a weird time. But yeah, so I started writing Path of the Pale Rider back in 2018 as a screenplay. And didn't know what to do with it. But my husband and I are real big comic fans. We read a lot of Robert Kirkman, and I've been reading DC comics for a long time. So it's like, Image is kind of where we find our new stuff. And what's interesting about my script is when people read it, they see it in their own medium. So I saw it as a movie. He saw it as a comic book series. And like, I've had friends who like do video games. And so they see it as a video game they can play. So it's just really interesting that it has that quality to it.
Now, were you writing before, like were you was writing something that you were dabbling up until the point you finally, you got to that, like, okay, let me actually do something with it? Or is it something like the production company says you could do more and you're like going, okay, let's try writing?
Well, I've had some ideas for a long time and just never put them down on paper. I have The Agency. I have this other one that I've written that's like a supernatural, kind of like the world of John Constantine, like that world. And then I have like a couple one-shots that are like more martial art heavy, that are like playing chess. It's like chess and martial arts. And it's really, really interesting. It's like you throw the mob in there and there's an FBI informant, and like, yeah, it works. I love writing stuff that like blends genres. Like that seems to be where I am strong, where I take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and I put it together and it shines. So yeah, I've been writing, just didn't, it was the production company that was like, we see you have potential, let's tap into that. And I was like, okay. And that was my push kind of to start writing. So
what was what was the catalyst that made you go, we're going to do this story? Okay, you had the screenplay or whatnot, and like, okay, let's do this as a comic. Like, because you said because what was the comic that really got you saying, you know what, this is what I want to do? Aha, everybody owns it.
It's one of those, like, you always have it nearby.
All right.
This one. East of West. Huge influence.
Right.
Style-wise, story-wise, topic-wise. I mean, it's about the apocalypse and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But if it happened before the Civil War completed. And I mean, just some of the stuff in here is just amazing, where it's like futuristic, but still Western. Like this is a horse. Right. So, I mean, if you guys haven't read East of West, it's Hickman and Dragota. It's amazing. It's amazing. Go get it. So that was, I mean, like, that's a huge influence, but it was kind of like almost not knowing how to move forward as a screenplay, because I've written screenplays and I wasn't with the production company anymore. And the story that I wrote was so big, we wouldn't be able to produce this.
Right.
So I was being told to pitch to Netflix, but that in itself is its own animal. It's like a literary agent. Then they get so many scripts every day. It's like, what makes you different than everybody else? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they want, yes, this one is very big on world building, and it's huge influence for mine because mine is the same. You know what I mean? See, Michael Lanning, we have talked recently, and you know how crazy I have gone with this world building and Path of the Pale Rider. But yeah, so it's like Netflix, I wasn't ready to do that. I wasn't ready to pull the trigger on that and needed another avenue. And so when my husband was like, we can research what it would take to do a comic, I was like, yeah, that makes more sense. We could do it, you know, shorter, you know, like issues instead of a full length movie. We can start building the fandom. And then I had all these ideas for fan experience. So we actually have a much broader experience besides just reading a comic. There's short films, there's riddles to solve. It's like falling down the rabbit hole and ending up in Wonderland. You get to participate in the world of Path of the Pale Rider. So, I mean, that's kind of my idea of things that we can do for fun that always come along with the comic, but then would set us apart. So that way, if that day comes where it's like, hey, pitch to Netflix, that's what I could say. Hey, not only do you get the story, but you get this fan experience.
Right. Now the thing is like, there's a lot of people who come into, especially after seeing, you know, like they see a couple of celebrities do comics and whatnot, and they kind of get the idea. It's like, oh, this is kind of like a shortcut or something. Now, like, So that's the thing. So what was like, okay, so you decide to turn this screenplay into, I guess, like a multi-genre, well, not a multi-genre, but multimedia experience. Right now, you decide to do the comic. Was there something that surprised you about transitioning to that into a comic that like maybe you weren't expecting, or it was kind of like because you already have this, you already are fans of the medium yourself, that you were kind of like, okay, this is just how it's going. You know, you already understood what the differences are.
Well, I don't think anything surprised me per se because I was in the medium, but I wasn't making the medium. So there still was a learning curve. You know what I mean? Like finding an artist, what's an appropriate page rate, what's an appropriate turnaround time, how to manage a Kickstarter, what rewards to put on a Kickstarter, what people want, how to fulfill, how to ship, like you were just showcasing. Yeah, exactly. I was here for that because I was like, yes, I want to see this box. And where did you get it? And you were like, Uline. I'm like, I'm there. Yeah. I'm going to need boxes for my next campaign, which I didn't need last time. So yeah, it's just kind of like, it's a learning curve. So not necessarily a surprise. I think the hardest thing it's not really hard, but it was like formatting, you know what I mean? Because like Marco works in one program, I work in a different program, and I letter. So, and then I have variant covers that are coming to me from, you know, different artists who all use different programs. So then for me to be able to make them all the same format to send them to my printer, that they work, you know what I mean? So learning how to do that was a little bit of a challenge, but other than that, it took me like two tries. And it was because the printing software and my software don't like to communicate to each other. Oh. So even if I have it formatted with the bleed correctly, if there's a white border around that's going to get cut off, the other program's like, oh, it's a white border, and it shrinks it down. And it puts the border in, and I'm like, that's not.
Do not fit to page.
Do
not fit to page.
No.
But also it depends on whether your printer is actually able to do kind of like borderless printing or whatnot. So it's like you always have to kind of like figure out all the settings and whatnot just to end up with a cohesive file, the printer, that your actual printer.
Yes. And I printed with Comics Wellspring last time, and now I'm changing printers. So then I had to reformat my whole issue number 1 so that way I can go to this new printer because they don't use the same method. So stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's a learning curve. I love learning so I can be self-sufficient. So knock on wood, McLean, I'm sorry for all the trouble you had to look at formatting my stuff, but it's done. so that going forward, issue 2 is going to format it as it comes in.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Once you figure it out, it kind of like,
yeah.
And so here's the thing though. So again, with a lot of these people who use comics as that stepping stone. So you're doing all this work, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if that Netflix deal never happens?
Who cares? It's not about the Netflix deal. It's about the story. I want people to be able to enjoy the story, whether it's this medium or a different medium. It does not matter to me. It does not matter. I just want you to
good answer. Good answer.
Right.
Oh my God, I didn't have to kick you.
In and forget what you're doing for 20 minutes while you sit down and enjoy this crazy ass story that I wrote. That had twists and turns and sarcasm and gratuitous violence and undead bears. I mean, it has all sorts of stuff in it. So get lost in that. Forget about your taxes. Forget about your stress of the day, and just be in there.
Right. So
that's what I want.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Actually, thank you for that answer. Right? So now the thing is, with your martial arts background, right? So considering that comics is, it's a very visual medium, and everybody loves their fight scenes. So here's the thing, right? For somebody who has the background that you do in martial arts, it's like, did that influence how things were actually choreographed in the actual comic?
100%. 100%. So it's like one of those things where it's like, sometimes you get to a fight and you're like, there's a fight.
Right.
No, in my story, it's like there's a fist fight. We're throwing tables. These are the kind of punches we're throwing. These is how they were blocked. You know what I mean? So punch, block, this goes over here. He punches this guy. This guy comes at him. He hits him with the bottle. Yeah, like I have the whole thing in my head as it's on paper. And I'm pretty descriptive about how it happens so that way my artists can follow that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even do one step further where I go to the martial arts school and I find some volunteers and we act out the fight on video.
Wow.
And then we can send that to my artists and be like, this is what the fight looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because Nicholas, he introduced me to a group, a Facebook group called the Historical Fencing Guild.
Yes.
And I've been, watching because my stories are all medieval based. And there was like one particular fight scene that I had doodled out that for some reason was bothering me. So even though I was like, I'm watching all the videos, I'm trying to follow the steps and this, that, and the other thing. So what I did was I had posted these sketches to this guild. Like, I know this is a little unusual, but I have these sketches. Do they make sense to you? To act people who actually knew how to fight in that certain way. And the results was fascinating, absolutely fascinating, because it's like people were actually at least they were understanding the tone of the fight that I was trying to get.
Yes.
However, they were critical of at what point the moves didn't make sense. Like, well, if this character moves this way, this is what's supposed to happen, not what you have on the page. So, I mean, it's like, it was just like really, really fascinating. So it's like, when I get to that scene, I'm going to have to go back to the group and kind of like adjust according to what they were telling. And they sent me a ton of videos because I was asking for like, kind of like a very specific fight style. And, it was just, and it was just like completely different than if it's like, okay, I'm just making this up because like, oh, well, that's what it looks like in the movie.
Right. We need to fight, throw stuff in
exactly.
there.
Right. But then it's like, you realize that there's a certain, it's like, you really do kind of have to kind of like animate it in your head. Do the moves make sense?
Right. So, and what style are they doing? Like yours is very specific. Fencing is very specific.
Right.
You know what I mean? Are they boxers? Are they knife fighters? Are they grapplers? They all have a specific skill set and targets that they will use, when they're fighting. So if you don't understand the mechanics behind your character's fighting style, you need to find someone that does. Right. And if you ever have that problem, anybody, come talk to me because I have all these martial art friends that do all sorts of styles who would love to help you. Daphne, absolutely. I have friends that do HEMA and fencing and Spanish sword fighting, like
that's
very
because that's
specific.
like now the thing is that now because you know how that sausage is made, like does it make it difficult to sometimes look at certain comics or certain, you know, and go, that's not how that would work?
Yeah, you know what? It was funny. I was on a show the other day. We were talking about Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
We were talking about that one character that has the eye patch, one of the sons, and he's out there fighting. And I was like, no,
Nope.
he can't do that no more. He has no spatial, like he has no depth perception. He can't do any of that. I was like, lies. It's all lies. They were making fun of me. They were just like, okay, so dragons are okay, but one-eyed sword fighting is not. And I was like,
absolutely. Dragons are totally believable.
No,
zero depth perception is not.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, it's kind of like how my sister can't watch Doctor Strange because she's in the medical profession. You know, she's in the medical field, and she's like going, those are the wrong gloves. Those are the wrong gloves. Who wrote this thing? Those are the wrong gloves.
Like, what are you doing? Bring in the experts, right?
You know, it's like, he's not washing his hands correctly.
So yeah, exactly. Like you can't touch the things.
Right. Look, it's like every time I would watch CSI and Law and Order, and they go to their tech guy and they're using Photoshop, they go, hit the enhance button. It's the same thing.
Or when they zoom in 12 times and you're like, that's not how that works.
The thing is like 30 pixels. You're never going to zoom.
They're like, I can see the license plate from 3 miles away. Bullshit.
Right. Yeah, I know, for real. So okay, so you have this campaign on Kickstarter called Path of the Pale Rider. So you want to bring that up, Nita?
I've got the campaign, but Laurie brought up a couple trailers, so I'm going to add them to the stream and let her play them real quick.
Oh, okay. All right. So
well, I guess we can jump into it.
So
that certainly caught my attention.
I wasn't expecting it to autoplay.
Surprise. This is we updated 2 of our stretch goals. So I had some fun stretch goals that were a little bit higher tier. And so myself and Professor Rich Parada, we have these stretch goals where we will smash pumpkins in a red dress. Not just me, him as well. Red dress, blonde wig, full makeup. That's what he promised. So we lowered those to 6,000. So I made a little promo to let everybody know, like, we're going to have fun. 6,000 we can reach, no problem. Like, let's do it. You know,
any stretch goal that humiliates Rich Parada, I am totally 100% approving.
We're going to be smashing pumpkins, not watermelons. Well, Rich can smash whatever he wants to, but I figured it's Halloween.
Right.
We end on the 30th. It was just too perfect. I'm like, we're going to smash pumpkins.
Okay.
So hence the video where it's like,
So did you want to give us a description of this next one or like tell us what it's about before I pull it up?
Teaser. It's just, we're making short films for stuff, right? So this is like a preview of what's coming. It's very short and you won't understand it, but it just leaves you with the feeling.
Okay. Gotcha.
Well, I guess it really does help to have a production company behind you.
That's just, it's just a little teaser. There's something coming. Are
you announcing your own publication company?
What's that?
Are you announcing a huge publication deal?
No, not yet. Oh, Jesus. That would be great. So today I'm announcing, no. It's just, it's a Western apocalypse. We got creepy stuff. So the next short film is going to be creepy. And I got all sorts of stuff coming. So, again, for those of you who aren't familiar, in this world, the death process is broken. So your body can die, but your soul or your energy doesn't leave when that happens. So you get to stick around and enjoy your own decay phase.
Ew.
Yeah, and you go crazy during this time because your brain is literally rotting in your skull. So we have this population of people that are becoming increasingly dangerous, chaotic, forgetful, detached. So this is the world that Jude St. Clair is functioning in, and we're 10 years into this apocalypse, and he's like the last cowboy on earth, still looking for the answer of why did the dead no longer die. So here you are. You can see images. This is from issue number 1. Makes some bed choices and then wakes up this undead bear.
Oh, so everything has that
everything.
Wow.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nothing gets to leave. Nothing gets to rest or transition. Pops just wants to see all the videos. He's in the chat demanding things. He said, Pine Fox or we riot. Just be patient. We'll get there. So it kind of gives you an idea what this world looks like. So in issue number 2, we're going into this town called Santa Claus. It's a real place in Arizona. Yeah. And they're not nice. But our cowboy's been looking for a super important guy named Dwayne Fink, who happens to be this village drunk and idiot who spills beer on people, screams about the wrath of God, and then falls off the table and ends up in the drunk tank. So that's where we're going. Of course, that's me being scary. All the stuff about me. If you're interested in some of the things that influence this and some of the things I like, it's all there. There's Marco DeFillo. He's head of art and interior art. He always has like glamour shots, which make me laugh when I put them up.
I guess it's like when you work in media, like you legit work in media, so everybody has to have those glam shots. I'm sure you have your photos too, right?
I mean, I'm working on it.
Right, yeah.
He just he has them. He always like, do you want a picture? And he's like, I got like these 5. And it's like, oh. Right. You look so handsome in these. He's like, shut up. I'm like, okay.
It's like it's a Kickstarter. You can calm down a bit. It's like, I mean, yeah. So okay, so let's see. So you haven't did you make goal yet, or
we're close. We're at 87%. We got over $4,000 and then someone adjusted a level.
That's always,
it happens. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? But it's just like, yay, we had like less than $500 and it was like, oh.
Boo. Yeah, no, that's always that's why crowdfunding is so stressful like that.
It is.
But you have plenty of time to get to goal. That's you're definitely on the way. So now the thing is,
that's the conspiracy theory video. So part of our fan experience is that we have these short films that fans can participate in, and we choose a different topic, and it's stuff from inside Path of the Pale Rider that maybe just you're not seeing because it's not in the lens of our protagonist, right? Mm-hmm. So this one, what I did is I opened it up for fan interaction where people could tell me what they think broke the death process. So what conspiracy theory do you think caused people not to die? And people could phone them in. I went around and interviewed some people, and they could say whatever they wanted. There was no script. There was no requirements. Say whatever. And that's what.
So it's kind of like so you're doing like a collective world building, or do you you have an answer for that, but you're just allowing the fans to add to it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because in this world, yes, there was an answer of what broke the death process, but nobody knows what it is. Mm-hmm. So it's just like this video of people coming up with their own ideas is what happened in the comic. You know what I mean? Where people are like, I don't know what caused it. It was a virus. You know what I mean? So they're treating it like you can catch it like a zombie virus, like we have seen before. Right. Other people think it's food. Other people think it's the government conspiracies. So it's like you could have whatever opinion that you want, but it might not necessarily be the correct one. Right. So this is kind of what Jude's doing is going around and researching all these conspiracy theories, trying to figure out if any one of these things is true.
Right. Now the thing is, though, is that so this is what issue 1.
We're on issue 2.
Oh yeah, issue 2. And so how many issues is the entire series going to be?
Well, I wrote it like a screenplay. So if we broke it down like it's a Netflix season, season 1 is 13 issues. And then I'm writing arc number 2. I'm 9 issues into arc number 2. There'll probably be about 12 in that one. And then there will be an arc 3. There is an ending in mind.
Right.
Arc 3 should be able to get us to that ending. And then I'm done. I'm moving on to something else. Like, I'm not going to beat this, like it's a dead horse. Everybody who's read the comic, yeah. So, I mean, there's other stuff that I'm going to move on to after this one. But so we're going to be here for a while. I mean, we just started issue 2 and it's like, there's 5 issues that I'm going to have done this year. So
okay. So there you go. So you're really on that track to do that. So now the thing is though, so as a writer though, so I have to ask, are you a plotter or a pantser?
Again, a plotter or a pantser?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like or a planner or a pantser. I forget what the actual term is. So like the story. So you have, you say you have a complete story, but are you still making up the middle parts as you go along? Or do you have everything nice and tidy and like, like this is how the story is going to go. And that's, and you won't deviate from that. Or are you making stuff up as you go along?
The first arc is pretty refined because I wrote it back in 2018. I had plenty of time to reread and add and adjust and rewrite and just monkey around with it. I think that one is pretty much done. I can't really take anything out. I could add some imagery in, but the story itself is what it is.
Right.
In that second arc that I'm writing, I usually I write the beginning and I write the end. And then I fill in the blanks about where are my characters, how do they progress, how do they develop, the things that need to happen in order to get to that end, right? So I'm at the point where all the foundation is laid and I just need to write the third act, just put it down on paper because it's in my head. So that one I will probably go back and do some revisions. I got plenty of time, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my process, is beginning and end, and then put everything in the middle. And then a lot of times I'll start the next arc. And if I see something like, ooh, I can foreshadow that in the second arc, I'll go back and I'll add it. So I don't think anything is ever set in stone. Your editor gets and they're like, change this. And then it's like, you better listen. But for the most part, I think it's the first part, the first 13, they're solid. So we're just going to just, it's like, we got a Kickstarter so we can get funds for Marco, and then we're good.
Right. Now, well, one last question that I'm, because we're just hitting the top of the hour, but I really do need to ask this question. So because your initial story was done in a screenplay format, how difficult was it to change that script to comic book, and was there something in the screenplay that couldn't transition over? Because with prose and doing comics, a lot usually doesn't in prose ends up not making it into a comic book. How different is that with a screenplay and a comic book?
I think the storyline itself is fine. The action is fine. I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of times I will write some exposition that maybe doesn't fit. So I'll have to either paraphrase or I'll have to cut down some of more flowery speech that this person is giving and make it more concise so that I can fit it in the speech bubbles on the page.
Right.
But I still need the same kind of, information to be communicated. So a lot of times it's a conversation between myself and my artist, like, hey, this is where this panel is where I need to have all my text. You know what I mean? Or this and this between this one page. Like, this is where it all comes through. So you got to leave me a bunch of room, so I can get all my speech bubbles in so people can understand what's going on. Because a lot of times, like in the first issue, it was very quiet. It was just Jude and Prince, his horse, and they were in the wild. So there wasn't even people to talk to. Then he comes across this lady and her child. And then it's like, okay, this is where all the dialogue comes in, where people can understand what's going on. And then he's off from their farm and now he's back in the wild. So it's like, still, you have to be able to communicate what you need to. And that's, I think, the hardest part. I think the other hardest part was making sure that they were all going to be around the same length for the issue, like 24 pages.
Right.
And also that there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. So chopping it up to a point where it makes sense, where there's either a twist or a cliffhanger or something at the end, so we can come back to the next one. So it has to be like a complete thought. You know what I mean? So that was the hard part, where it's like maybe issue number 2 didn't have enough and issue 3 had too much. So then we shuffle into issue number 2 and make sure that the ending made sense, you know? So that was, you know, a little difficult to maneuver, but then after that got settled, then it was good.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
So there we go. So Path of the Pale Rider on Kickstarter right now, with how many days did it have left? 13. Lucky 13 days left to go.
13 is a lucky number for Path of the Pale Rider.
All right. Oh, so there you go. So yeah, it's only unlucky if you're a Knights Templar, so don't worry about it. You know, so it's on Kickstarter right now. Links in the show notes below. So why don't you tell everybody where else they can find you aside from Kickstarter?
Oh, I'm on all sorts of social media, which Pops will tell people to. I have a Facebook group, which is where we have all the shenanigans for Path of the Pale Rider, where we do contests and sneak peeks and riddles and whatever, all sorts of shenanigans. It's just Path of the Pale Rider. We have a Facebook page that's Path of the Pale Rider. I just use that for advertising, so you can follow that, but there's not really an interaction there. I'm also on Instagram. It's at Path of the Pale Rider with an underscore between all the words. It's the same handle for the TikTok, at Path of the Pale Rider with the underscores between all the words. Twitter, we're at Path Pale Rider. And then the webpage is www.pathofthepalerider.com. I am going to be at a Comic-Con this weekend, the 22nd and 23rd. I'm going to be at Cowtown in Fort Worth. So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, come on by. Like, I'm going to be around. I'm going to be taking selfies with all the artists that I know that I haven't met yet. Like, well, Sam Vera and I met. We just didn't take a selfie. I'm like, William, I'm going to be finding Paul Gomez with Potato Pillar. Don't ask questions. Let's see. Ken Salinas, who did the variant cover, the Voodoo's variant cover. So he's going to be there. I think David Sanchez is going to be there. I'm just going to go take a bunch of selfies. If you want to come take a selfie with me, please come on over. And then, of course, I'm on the Comics Related Madness Network on Tuesdays. We have a show at 11 a.m. Eastern called the Tuesday Morning Brew. You can come we have a Facebook group there as well, which is awesome. You can come hang out and see what everybody's doing and get all the news. So make sure that you come and follow along with that too. That show is kind of like herding cats. There's usually about 9 of us on the screen looking at shiny things and acting like squirrels and just running off into the distance with our thoughts. So, but they're all comic book writers, creators, fans. Nita's been on there. You can see us, drink coffee and talk about shenanigans. I think like last week, all we did was talk about poop. So it happens.
Lovely.
I mean, it was before we had Sam Vera on the show. And that really has no filter. But his comic is called "There's an Alien in My Toilet."
Yes.
Yeah, and his character's name is Duty, and he's from Uranus.
Yeah.
So naturally, we were 8 years old.
Well, of course, because that's the best joke you ever heard of at 8, and he created an entire,
comic book series around 8-year-old humor, and it's hilarious.
All right.
Great time. Like Tanner's there, Rich is there, Allie is there, Pops is there, Doc is there. So I mean, like, we all kind of hang out and just do whatever. So
and twirl knives.
That's just a me thing. People are always like, "What are you doing? What is that? Is that a knife?" And I'm like,
yes, it is.
I usually have like a couple hanging out. Like that one's just a trainer. It's not sharp, but this one is. So like this one's fun too, where I'll just kind of flip it around and like twist it around. It's just kind of like my kind of like a fidget spinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Except they're knives. I have a butterfly knife around here sometimes. That one's really distracting, so I don't always get that one out because
because still that click. Yeah, no, because JD used to.
Oh, and Christy Shin is there a lot too. Don't forget President Christy Shin, Chris Brown, Professor. I mean, there's so many, and they're really good. So come hang out with us and talk about whatever's fun.
Right. So there you go. So Nita, any final thoughts about everything?
Oh, hey, Chad went live. Sparkle Dog is live.
Oh, there you go. There we go.
I knew it was the 17th. Yes.
See, Michael Lanning was like, "It's today" in the comments. And I was like,
we don't pay attention when C. Michael comments. We just pretend like it doesn't exist. But yes, totally check it out. Find Path of the Pale Rider and Sparkle Dog both live on Kickstarter. And
Links below.
Yes, and for contact information for anyone who's affiliated with the Indie Comics Network, head over to Linktree /Indie Comics Network. And not only does it have all the links to all of our social media platforms, it has the individual link trees to all of our host and co-host. So
so
everything, that's what I got.
Everything in a nice, tidy place. So here we are at the we're a little beyond the top of the hour, but I just want to thank everybody who joined us in the chat, and I'd like to thank everybody who joined us in the chat, keeping the conversation going, keeping it moving, and I'd like to thank the 9 people who are joining us from regions beyond. I hope you enjoyed your stay this hour. I hope we entertained you, while you were doing whatever it was you were doing, and doing it well, I might add. So if you want to learn more about me and my work, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook, where you can see my sketches, current work in progress, and whatever nonsense, just decides to jump into my head. Oh, by the way, it's like Nita is not doing plumbing. She's actually, that's actually one of the hamster cages in the background.
Oh, yeah.
So someone's on a wheel, obviously. HR is expanding. So, where was I? Yes, and you can also check out all my videos for how I make my comics or whatever. Here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art LAGE, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So hit all the buttons to make the algorithm gods happy, so that everybody can see our videos whenever they go live. So notification bell, the whole thing. You guys know how this works already. Come on, really.
Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, you can read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn in its original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the links over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. So again, I just want to thank Laurie for coming on the show today. I want to thank everybody in the chat, everybody watching. And so we'll see you. Well, you can see me again on Wednesday at 4 p.m. when I run my art live stream. And you'll see us again on Friday, where we will have the one and only Chad Perkins with his Sparkle
just
Dog
because
campaign.
He won't leave.
I know. We keep putting food out, so food and vodka. So I don't know. It's like he keeps coming in through the cat door. So we'll be back on Friday at 11 a.m. with that as well. So thank you again. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. So have a great Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah.
Send all complaints and hate mail to Cox Communications in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because fuck those guys, and we're out.
There we go. Ciao.